Good afternoon. It's Jared Forte. Welcome to another session of Notes from the Route. We got some technical things going on right now that are pretty interesting. Um, and I'm going to say, okay, yes, it is true that technical challenges may be beyond my control. I do have to own the fact that um, my preparation prior to the show was not what it normally is. So I'm going to take a little bit of responsibility for that. I hope we still are able to have a good experience in talking about the subject for today in session 23, which is clarity and motivation, or clarity's role in motivation. And I have to kind of address also um, sort of off the top with the way that the run up to this show has taken is a good example of the way that sometimes once we start making a move forward with things that we're working on in our lives, once we start um, taking positive steps, a lot of times we run into this thing where we sort of start sabotaging our own success by making, some interesting choices, or by getting a little casual. Um, so I have to acknowledge that, like with today, as I was preparing for today, I was well advanced in my preparation in terms of knowing what the subject was going to be. Everything had been going smooth. I kind of developed a show preparation sort of regime where I could sit down and routinely I would be able to, get all of my notes together, get everything ready to present without a lot of drama. Things just kind of started clicking. I had to go for the walk, I get my head right, and things just started working. Uh, Toyed with that and was struggled to get these ideas together. I think probably because it's such a big challenge. Clarity is such a big challenge for me. I think that we're all subject to uh, obsessions with other people's agendas, obsessions with other people's results that cloud our ability to understand and do the work that we're to do the things that we are uniquely qualified and uniquely gifted um, to do, because we're busy looking at and obsessing over and wanting what other people have and do. So it's a good topic because it's instructional for me in terms of sort of the way that I have organized my time over the course of the week, the amount of consumption of ideas that I've had and the types of ideas. It's instructive for me to have for one, to be able to have the clarity and understanding of exactly the goals of this show and the goals of the communication I'm having with you, and not to be so concerned with what everyone else in the space is doing. I think I might have gotten a little bit off track with that in terms of um, the way I've looked around and tried to learn about how to do different things. I've gotten away from, or I took my eyes off the original intention of Notes from the Route, which is really to workshop all of these ideas that I think that are important. They don't have to be finished. I don't have to have all the answers, but the purpose of the conversations here is to open the conversation. So with that, let's get into the topic: clarity as it regards to motivation. Um, 18 years ago, 1996, I was in the Army. I was in Bosnia, the summer of '96, I think. Um, it was about this time of year. And one of the things that the military rightly gets credit for is their ability to motivate, or good leaders in the military and the systems and programs that they have in place are very effective in motivating you to move beyond what you perceive to be your limits. When I was in Bosnia, um, I don't I don't now claim to have, nor have I ever had, a very good sort of spatial intelligence, meaning like um, I don't have a good like not a great I don't feel comfortable like backing up. You know, I didn't grow up with a like if I wouldn't want to be able to drive a big rig, for instance. I get nervous in space around things like behind me. You know, I'm just not that. I don't have that natural spatial intelligence. Um, Never been a competency of mine. But the as a result, like for instance, I moved to the city about 6 months ago, a little over 6 months ago. Moved to this part of town, and in moving here, the anxiety around here is parking. Where are you going to park? And then once you find a parking space, there's like, okay, everybody's watching me back in here. Am I going to get close enough to the curb? Am I going to be able to fit into this spot? There's like a lot of anxiety, especially around this part of town since they've been doing this construction. So, okay, so 1996, I'm driving this huge 5-ton, big military truck, cargo truck. Attached to the back is a trailer with a water, called a water buffalo, behind it. And I'm driving. I just got licensed on this thing, 2 months maybe. I hadn't had 10 hours on it. And the sergeant that's with me says, okay, we're going to go into the town where there is a fresh water supply, and we're going to go fill up this tank. Private Forte, you're going to drive, and I'll be your TC. We're going to go get this water. Did not want to hear that, because now not only do I have to drive this thing, I have to be able to back up this trailer into this small spot so that we can fill it up with water and take it back to the camp. Okay, so driving is no problem. We get there. He hops out of the truck. I said, Sergeant, I don't know, maybe you should back it in. I don't know. He said, you'll be fine. I'm going to guide you. He jumped out and he stood behind and he gave the hand signals, telling me which way to turn, how to turn the wheel. And his direction and his hand signals were so clear that I didn't even have to think about how to back it in. The instructions were so clear. He was so good at guiding me. He knew by looking at where I was how to get me where I wanted to be with such clarity, and he could communicate that with his hand signals with such clarity, with the points and the turns and that I didn't even have to think. And all of my fear and apprehension in that situation disappeared. I knew as long as I had my eyes on his directions and as long as I kept looking at him, not even being aware of my surroundings at all, I could trust his direction and I could go and I could back this thing up perfectly into the spot where I needed to be. So it wasn't about my anxiety or my feeling that I wasn't able to move this thing into this space. Yeah, I didn't. That evaporated in the presence of clear, competent leadership. My fear evaporated, and that's the power of clarity. Now, motivation is really leadership, but it's personal leadership. It's leadership that we have for ourselves and to guide our own actions and our own purposes and towards our own goals. So that leadership, the key point of that leadership was the clarity with which he was able to communicate through hand signals that, and it wasn't that he was right in the way that he was pointing, or it wasn't that he knew that he was doing what he was doing or how to move it that was important. It was the conviction of his movement. It was, I had no doubt that he was sure. When I saw him, I saw the conviction in his direction, and I believed and I moved forward because of that conviction. that he had in the way that he was guiding me. So we have to have that same, not only do we have to understand and know where we're headed and what we're going to do, and not only do we have to eliminate the extraneous options, like the wheel goes 360 degrees almost. So I had many different options of how I could turn and move. He took that off the plate with his specific directions. So not only do we have to understand where we need to get, we also have to be willing to let go of all of the conflicting options that are out there. We're in love with our options. We're obsessed with our choices. But the fact of the matter is, you have to be willing to eliminate options and to constrain your actions and your energy if you ever want to get where it is that you want to go. So we have to have that clarity and know where we're going. We have to have conviction to be able to communicate it so that we can move in the direction that we want to go with purpose and with energy to spare. Because all of the options that we are constantly weighing when it comes to our goals and our aims in life are constantly weighing all these different options. They're dispersing our energy. It's the power is in the power is in the choice. It's not in keeping options open. The power is in the decision to move forward and to let go of the fear that you're going to get it wrong. People, it's hard to, we don't like uncertainty. Uncertainty is a reality because we can't necessarily know how things are going to turn out in any given circumstance, in any situation. Uncertainty is a reality. But even though we don't know what's going to happen, we can act in a certainty of action ourselves. We can be sure of what we are going to do. We can be sure of our part, and we can act with that energy of, okay, I'm not doing this with the caveat that maybe if it doesn't work, I'll do that. No, I'm going to invest all of my energy into this choice. I'm not even going to think about the option on the other side. It may exist out there in the universe. This may not be a live and die, do or die situation for you. The option may be a real thing, but for your purposes in the moment, it doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is your present action. And that's the essence of motivation. That's the essence of personal leadership, is that clarity. When something is clear, then the parts that are, the options that are out there, the possibilities that are out there kind of evaporate into the background. And you can focus all of your energy and all your purpose on the choice that you made. But you have to make the choice. And once you've checked the box, it's a multiple choice situation. But once you check the box, those other options disappear. And you have to commit to that clear choice that you made. So that's the role of clarity and motivation. You can check out these live sessions. It's about 15 to 20 minutes every Monday through Thursday right here on G+. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can find me on Facebook at Facebook/NFTR Sessions or jaredforte.com/backstage. There, you'll sign up for a list and you'll get an email once a week, and I'll do a recap of the sessions from the previous week and also give you a forecast or outlook on what's coming up in the week ahead so you can plan your time and decide which sessions apply to you, and then you can share it with other people who you think might dig it and help the show grow. So that's today's session. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.